Our first panel this morning will be speaking to the business of financing and investment. If we mean business, we must get comfortable with talking about money more, and not just money, but how money works and how money empowers the businesses that we do. Allow me the privilege of welcoming our moderator, Emezino Afiegbe. Welcome, sir. Please appreciate him as he comes up. We're privileged to have Zino, who is a true champion of financial inclusion. He has spent over 2 decades transforming the digital payments landscape across Africa. From leading financial institutions to shaping policies that drive economic empowerment, he has dedicated his career to ensuring access to financial solutions for businesses, underserved communities, and women. Please welcome Zino, who is seated comfortably now. Welcome. Joining him on stage is Olajumoke Bello. Good morning and welcome. She is a powerhouse in enterprise banking and SME growth with over 21 years of experience shaping financial strategies that help businesses scale. She has been instrumental to unlocking funding opportunities for countless entrepreneurs, ensuring that businesses thrive in competitive markets. And today, she'll be sharing a thing or two about smart financing for sustainable growth. Good morning and welcome, and thank you for honoring us with your presence, Olajumoke. David Alao is also joining this panel. I don't see David, not yet. So let me welcome Onome Odometa to join the panel, please. A round of applause as she comes up. She's a financial expert whose work in wealth management has empowered numerous high net worth individuals and businesses to navigate complex financial markets. As the head of the elite business division at Leadway Asset Management, she has mastered the art of growing and sustaining wealth. Onome, we are looking forward to learning from your expertise in financial strategy, and we say thank you to Leadway for making this possible. Please appreciate them again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Bukola Osikomaiya. She joins up. She is a trusted and respected family business advisor, currently serving as the head of private wealth and family office at Leadway Asset Management. I'm sure some of us will say, what is this family business and family asset management thing? Recently, I got to know a little more. When we become wealthy enough, we need people like Bukola to advise us on how to structure our businesses. Perhaps not even when we become wealthy enough. To become wealthy enough, we need the guidance right now. We mean business, so let's learn how it's done. Welcome, Bukola. And I now hand over to Mr. Moderator. Thank you, Zino.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you notice I said ladies more higher with a higher tone and gentlemen with a lower tone. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to the We Mean Business Guardian Woman Festival. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm excited to be in the midst of professionals, women. And do we know the theme for the 2025 International Women's Day? All right, so I'll just say the first word and please say the second word. Accelerate. Action. Perfect, we know it. And when you think about acceleration and you think about telecoms, what comes to mind is the fastest means of connectivity, which is 5G. Well, in the Women Business segment here, we are going to talk about 5G from the perspective of women. 5 Gs. The first G means grit. The second G means gallantry. The third G means guardianship. And the fourth G is giftedness. And the fifth is guidance. 5G, representing our women. Please, can we give ourselves a round of applause? So when you think 5G, that's what you should bear in mind. But on this panel, we're going to focus on investments. Because for women to grow their businesses, you need to have the right investments, and you need to know how to use financial resources as they are made available to you. So we have an exciting panel here. I'm just going to do a very quick 30-second run through those we have here with us, although our MC has done a beautiful job in mentioning the organizations we come from, but let me just tell you what makes me excited about each of these panelists, beginning with Bukola Osikomaiya. You know, she currently is with Leadway Asset Management. She possesses a deep understanding of the intricate challenges faced by private clients, affluent families, and she is committed to advocating for a balanced approach to wealth preservation, management, and transfer. She is an alumnus from Pan Atlantic University, where she holds an MSc, and she has a vast career across multiple organizations, which of course is going to share some insights with us. So please, another round of applause for Bukola, please.
Thank you, Zeno. I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm looking forward to having a beautiful conversation with us all.
Great, and we'll move on to Bukola's immediate right, where we have Onome Odometa. Now, Onome, she is currently the Senior Vice President and Head of Elite Business in Leadway Asset Management, and she has a career of several years in multiple organizations where she's managed large portfolios. Her focus is on practical solutions, take note of the word, and clear insights. So if you're going to leave here today with benefits from Onome, you should get something practical you can start doing immediately, and also relevant insights. She currently leads the elite business at Leadway Asset Management, and she's an alumnus from INSEAD in France, and also the London Business School. You're welcome, Onome. Thank you for your applause. We have expert women professionals we will learn from today. Then, of course, we have Olajumoke Bello. She is to my left, and she is currently the head of enterprise banking at Stanbic IBTC. She has over 2 decades of experience within the financial services ecosystem. She is an alumnus of the University of Manchester in the UK. She's a detail-oriented, strategic, and analytical thinker. So let's let the mathematics of money work for us today. She will show us how. So you're all welcome to the panel.
Thank you. Thanks.
We are going to have a conversation today over the next 20 minutes or so. And basically, to set the tone for us, I'm going to throw out, for the benefit of all of us here, a few numbers. The first number, 294. Let me dress it properly. $294 billion. That represents the credit gap for women businesses in Nigeria. That was revealed by Dr. Cardoso, the current central bank governor, in October last year, when he signed off on what is called the Wi-Fi code. Here's another number, 51. Let me dress it again. 51%. 51% of Nigeria's adult population of 111 million people are women, which means 49% are men. So if products are being designed without that gender lens, the entire ecosystem is missing out on half of the opportunity. A little bit more than half of the opportunity. Here's another number, 5. 5% of adult Nigerians aged 18 years and above are the only proportion in the capital market. 5%. And this is a decline from 2020's 6%. So it's always been low. What can we do? What should we know about in order to properly invest? What can we do about the assets that we have in our families, thinking about the next generation that will follow us to ensure that they have a safety net? Well, enough preamble. Let me go to the first question. And the first question really, and I'll start from my extreme left, is to understand currently what solutions and products does Leadway Asset Management have that supports women in starting, sustaining, and growing their wealth and business.
Thank you very much, Zeno. So apart from the fact that Leadway is very inclusive in its employment of women into leadership positions, we have women in strategic positions across all the groups in Leadway. We have a specific, I would say, project that we have designed for young women. It's called Her Assured. You can go online and check it, Her Assured, H-E-R, then Assured towards the end. Just go online, Her Assured by Leadway. You'd see, the link to the website. It's a community of young people that Leadway brings together. We have about 600 people at the moment, and it's just a year old. These young people are trained on financial education, and then we pick strategic ones, the ones who already have businesses and need mentorship, and then we pair them with mentors. We currently have about 6 of them at the University of, Obafemi Awolowo University, whom we have paired with our CFO and some strategic people within the organization. So every week, they get 1 or 2 information from their mentors, and they give their mentors feedback to, and then we are very, very intentional about the resources we commit to this. I think sometime next week, I think Friday, we're going to have a meeting with all of these people where we would both celebrate the International Women's Month and then also do like a 1-year anniversary of, Her Assured. Apart from this, we also have, this, we try to educate women too on the importance of legacy planning. We understand that at the end of the day, women are usually at the receiving end when there is no legacy plan. Most times, women end up with the children when something happens to the husband. You hardly want to give your children away, so you are left with the responsibility of taking care of the children. When there is a divorce, most times women end up keeping the children. So they always would have need for finance. And we understand that having a great financial plan for your life isn't just all about having money. It's about having the freedom to make the right choices. So these are the things that shape both how we design our product and even whatever project we have currently targeted at women. I'm sure Onome might want to say a thing or two.
Yeah, thank you, Zeno. I think that Leadway as an organization, we are extremely passionate when it comes to women empowerment. And I think that was one of the reasons why Her Assured was birthed. And apart from all that Bukola has mentioned, is the fact that we do have products that are tailored for women. And we also do encourage women to ensure that they also have some sort of financial stability by investing wisely. So you don't have to wait to have a fortune for you to start or for you to begin investment. You can actually start gradually, because if you look at sometimes a lot of women do have some fear when it comes to investing. They see it to be, oh, you have to have a lot of money, you have to have millions somewhere before you can invest. But the truth is, you don't have to do that. You can actually start gradually and then build your way towards growing your wealth and ensuring that you do have some sort of financial freedom. So Leadway, we are obviously very passionate about that, and it also shows in how we also empower our female staff and ensure that there's a pathway to growth and to grow into leadership roles for the women in the organization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Onome. That's lovely, and also Bukola. I picked an expression from your statements, what you said, which was financial freedom, and that helped me come up with an equation. And do we want to hear the equation? The equation is financial access plus financial usage plus financial health equals financial freedom. Did we get that? It's not enough to have access to an account. You need to use the account, use it properly, financial health, then you open the gate to financial freedom. We're going to come back to that some more. But let's hear from Stanbic IBTC. So what do you have for women?
Thank you, Zeno. For us at Stanbic IBTC, we have our Blue Blossom Women proposition. It's a community it's a platform that actually empowers women. So we created this to bridge the gap that we know exists in terms of women representation in industries and various sectors. So on that platform, give you resources, and we also make available opportunities for you to network, opportunities for financial growth. You're able to get personal and business finance solutions. You can get solutions on insurance, investment, pension management, estate planning, trustee setup. So many resources are made available for you on that Blue Blossom platform. We also give you solutions and product offerings whereby you open an account, you get discounts, because we know women, we have to encourage women. We have to also support women, and we have to also make sure it's easy for them to access this support. So we make the fees discounted for you. We make sure that you have available input, available advisory services that can also equip you to grow your business. So for us, we follow the tagline that when you support women, businesses thrive and economies prosper. So that's why we actually want women, and we push for women to succeed. Thank you.
Excellent. When you support women, businesses thrive and economies prosper. We're not just saying this because this is International Women's Month. This is proven by research studies. The organization I work for, EFINA, once every 2 years, we carry out a study with National Bureau of Statistics. We interview over 27,000 people. This is the feedback we are getting. Women are preferred savers. Women are preferred borrowers. So we've heard a few things so far. We've heard about mentorship. We've heard about the need to know that you can start small. We've also heard about the importance of having financial literacy, really understanding what is out there. Now, let me go to one point that has affected a lot of women, and that is going to the wrong investors, the unregulated investors. We've heard about wonder banks. So women who have been victims of wonder banks don't want to touch investments. Some women who have gone into the stock exchange may have unfortunately invested in poorly governed companies, and they rubbed their hands off it and said, I'm not going back to stock exchange. What would you advise as the right approach for any woman entrepreneur who wants to make investments to get it right and have her funds safely and rightly, properly invested? What should she watch out for? So who do we start with? Okay, Onome, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a very, very delicate situation. It's actually very sensitive because I actually encountered a client of mine about 2 weeks ago who actually was in a similar situation. And what I would say is, as a woman who wants to invest or you're looking for investors, do your research. Read up on the industry, read up on whoever it is that wants to invest in your business. Whether it's you wanting to do the investment or it's the other way around, do your research. One thing about research is history never lies. There's always a repetition. And when you do your research on certain organizations or certain individuals who want to invest, you will be able to pinpoint or find whatever red flags there are, and that would then inform you in whatever choice you eventually get to make. Also, when you do your research, you would know what sort of rating they have. A lot of organizations have bodies that govern them, and then they have their credit ratings. You don't want to go for an organization that isn't properly regulated or rated, because then you're obviously opening the doors for different issues or problems. And I think that there are certain pitfalls that as a business owner now and then as a woman that you need to avoid. Once you see these red flags, you know very well to avoid them. Thank you.
Excellent. We appreciate that. Okay. And Bukola?
And just to add to what Onome has said, if it's too good to be true, it's most likely not true. And it's important to use regulated advisors when you're investing because they have a fiduciary duty they're obligated both ethically and legally to act in your best interests. So in that instance, if you give them your money, they know that they ought to put your money in regulated instruments. And if you're not comfortable with the equity markets, you have the money markets. You know, you have commercial papers of rated organizations, you have your bonds, your treasury bills, and you have the savings bond for the federal government. You can start up with very little amounts. And there's no excuse really. And again, you need to also understand how investment works. A pool of fund is invested in vehicles that give returns, and you earn from these returns. When you invest in vehicles that you can't see, and someone is saying, collect money from Onome, give it to Bukola, and I will give you 50%. What are they putting that money on? How are they earning the 50%? Are you sure they are not paying Robin Paul to pay Peter? So we need financial literacy as women. If you look at all the wonder banks that have gone bust on social media, most of the victims are women. Women will say, I have prayed about it, but they will not research. They will not learn. They will not go back and consult past history. They won't ask the right questions. They won't ask that, okay, this organization, do you have an audited report? I want to see it. Okay, my friend that is an accountant, can you help me look through this? These are very important matrices that you can't afford not to consider when you're investing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Jumoke, do you have any perspective on this, looking at what the commercial bank is doing when it comes to investments? And maybe you may want to also speak about access to credit, barriers preventing women micro-entrepreneurs from having access to credit. So investment on the one hand, and then credit.
Okay, I think the Onome and Bukola have actually spoken on the investment extensively. The only thing I'll just add is that women also need to learn to diversify the income. So in terms of you looking at it and ensuring that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. They say you have to save X percentage of your income monthly. But while saving, what else are you doing? So you're saving X percentage here, you're investing X here, and that way you have many different portfolios that you're creating for yourself. And you can start moving in between them also. So investment is not a one-size-fits-all that you continue till perpetuity. You have to keep monitoring it, you have to keep moving in between, but mostly you have to keep upskilling yourself also. So that also lets you know your risk profile, and that's me going into the credit leg now. So when you upskill yourself, you as a teenager, you as a fresh graduate, you as a fresh worker, your risk rating and the level of risk you're willing to take moves on as you move into retirement. So that's also what guides what you invest in. So in terms of the access to credit, I tell people that a lot of women shy away from credit. So in terms of looking at your business, we like to invest our equity, which is our own personal funds, or funds from our friends, funds from husbands, because we think that's the level at which we want to play, we want to operate. So we need to start expanding our minds, and that's coming from upskilling ourselves. We need to also learn to raise our hands up. So your business has reached a certain level. It is not a hobby. It is a business, and it's a business that is also empowering others. You have employees. That's personal pride. You want to take it to the next level. You want to expand. You want to have more shops. So start accessing this credit, because I find that women who access credit are the best people to lend to. Women actually repay facilities. So we have this preference for women. But women need to raise their hands up more to access this credit, to know that this credit, this business is not a side hustle. This is my business, and I want to see it grow. I want to approach this bank with my financials, show them my cash flow, the returns I'm making on my business, and I will get this bank to support me, because this bank has products tailored to women to help women grow. And that's it. You will get that support. But we need to stop shrinking ourselves to the stereotype that people have created to say, this is what you can do, and rather, what do I want to do? Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, these contributions indeed deserve a round of applause. Can we applaud them one more time? Practical insights that we can implement right away. And one thing which we have heard is awareness, financial literacy. The next question we might ask ourselves is, okay, all this sounds good, but where do we go and how do we start? So where do we go? I know that we have in the other side of the hall the various booths, and our panelists here have their booths, so you can ask further questions in that regard. But there's something that would be a miss for us if we don't touch on, which is for career women. There are certain points in life when they might pause and stop on their career journey. How do they ensure that their goals are achieved? So we're talking about women in leadership. Many African countries are looking at Nigeria right now, especially with women in leadership in the financial services space. In 2012, we had less than 4 CEO women. As of today, we have at least 10. So can I ask, Onome, if you can talk a bit about women in leadership? What are some things that our career women in our midst today can focus on, pay attention to ensure that the goal is achieved despite the punctuations in life's journey?
Thank you, Zeno. That's a very interesting question. And I think along the line when I'm speaking, I will use myself as an example. I think a lot of times we don't see women who are so confident to want to actually demand for what they deserve. So another thing also is women shy away, and I always say to women, always speak up. No matter what it is you want to say, you may think it sounds stupid, but say it. Speak up. Speak up when you are in rooms, you are in offices, always speak up. And then there is something I learned at NCED, is the 3 C's to value. So first thing is you have the value creation. And this concept actually works regardless of who you are, regardless of what industry you're operating in. Value creation for a business, for you to actually establish or execute an idea that you have, you obviously have to create it. So you have to create value. The second step is value communication. When you create the value, it's not enough to create it and then keep quiet about it. You have to communicate to the right persons. And I'm going to use myself as an example. When I joined my previous place of employment, I was actually a contract staff. And when I came into the organization, myself and other ladies that were hired were just doing the normal day-to-day things. We would go out in the morning, go out for our marketing calls, return back to the office, have your daily meetings, and then you go home. But at some point, I knew that wasn't enough. If I desired to get to a certain level or a certain stage in my career, I had to do something different. I had to be proactive and go out of my way to add more value. Because if you really want to grow or rise in any organization, it's not enough to just do what you are hired for. I can be in sales or in business development. If all I do is just that, you may grow, but then it's going to be at a very slow pace. So what I did was I saw that there was some opportunity for me. I call it opportunity because it's not a problem, but I call it opportunity in the client service department. The company at the time didn't have a functioning client service department. Statements weren't being sent to clients. Holiday or goodwill messages weren't being sent to clients. So I took it upon myself. You know what? Let me do this. It's obviously not what I was hired to do. And by the time I get back from my marketing calls, it's probably 6:30. I had to stay back at the office to start sending statements to clients. Over 13,000 clients at the time. And I was doing this manually. You can imagine not having a system that you can just press or click and then everything goes. I had to send one by one to these clients. And it was extreme care for me because you can't make a mistake. You can't make a mistake to send the wrong statement to the wrong client. So there were times I would be at work till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. sometimes. I remember a day I was actually locked in the office because the people who were doing the patrol at night, they had locked up. They didn't know somebody was in the office. And I was actually using a lamp because at the time, they usually turn up the generator at 7, 8. So if you want to stay back, you would obviously use a lamp. So we got lanterns if you want to stay back at the office before we eventually got them to, give the floor we were in electricity. But I would be there till 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 12 a.m. And one day the CEO was closing from work at about 11:30. He saw me at my desk. I was sending statements and he asked, "Oh, what are you still doing at work?" I said, "Oh, I'm actually sending statements to clients." "Wow, who asked you to do this?" "Nobody. I just thought to do it because, it would be a good thing for our clients to receive statements." I knew that obviously this was a good thing for me, and that was one way I was communicating it. So other things that I would do, I would go to the unit head or my line manager and say, "Oh, Ma, I was able to do this. If we were to get an external person to do this, this is the cost. So I'm actually saving the company money." Guess whose name is on top when it came for promotion? My name. So that's how I think a lot of women, but when I see my experience with some women in most organizations, well, from my experience in my previous place of work, is sometimes we're very laid back and lackadaisical. And then when you see another woman who is so, who's got vision, who's driven, right, you begin to wonder, how is she getting all of that? Well, she's putting in the work. You need to think ahead and ensure that you're doing way more than you were just employed to do to get value, because the world is tough enough for women as it is. You have to actually give reasons why you deserve this thing. And another thing that I also did was I knew the work I was putting. I knew the value I was bringing. Now, that's the last C, which is value capture. I was able to capture a lot by creating the value, communicating the value. I also captured value, which obviously came in as promotions. There were years I got double promotions. It came in as salary increase, raise in bonus, and other perks that I got. So that's one way I think a lot of women. And I was so fierce to demand what I deserved. And if anyone knows me, you will know Onome doesn't play. I don't joke with things that I know I am worthy or deserving of. And I would always remove I'm very fast to actually remove myself from situations that do not serve me. If I know I'm bringing in so much value and I'm not getting out of it, I would go to you. So there were times I went to my superior at the time and I said, "Okay, I do have these offers. It's only fair that if you want me to remain here, you either match this or top this." But it got to a point I wasn't even asking to match. I was asking for something better. Because for me to be here, there has to be a reason. And I think that's one of the things that I want women to actually look into. But you can't be demanding when you're not doing anything valuable. You can't be doing just the normal day-to-day and expect that when you go to the CEO and make demands, they would approve it. There has to be something that you are doing that they can't easily get elsewhere. Do you understand? And be very confident. I always say, even if I don't know what is being discussed, I would speak on it, I would ask questions. Along the way, you'll be able to get to what they are saying. That's what has worked for me anyways. People think I'm aggressive, but trust me, there's a method to this madness. You have to be really strategic.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That was really motivational, and we love the fact that this is your personal life experience. So this is not theoretical, it's not read up, but it's what you actually went through. And I'm sure that is a similar experience some of us here have been through. Did we get the 3 C's? In case we didn't, here they are. Value creation, value communication, and value capture. So please, let's take note of that. Now, let's come to Olajumoke. Thank you very much, Onome, for that. So, with regards to some developments we have seen for women within the country, and I'm going to talk about macro developments. Inflation was 34.8% in December. It was rebased by the National Bureau of Statistics, and in January it was 24%. That's one side. The MPR from the CBN had been increased to 22.5%, making it more expensive to borrow. But because of the rebasing of the inflation, in the last meeting at the CBN, that figure was held frozen. Would you say this is a good time, therefore, to borrow as a woman micro-entrepreneur and to save as well? What would be your thoughts on that?
So, in addition to just freezing the monetary policy rates, which the CBN governor communicated, there are actually interventions for women. There are interventions from international organizations in partnership with local financial institutions, whereby they prioritize credit to women at discounted rates, sometimes heading towards half of what the monetary policy rate is currently running at. A few of them even moving towards the single-digit rate. So it's about educating ourselves and knowing that these facilities are out there, because there is a deliberate focus at empowering women, from giving them access to credit, easy access to credit. There's preference in all the sectors that are chosen as the focus sectors by the federal government, working in partnership with Bank of Industry, for instance. You find agriculture there, and specifically women in those sectors. So there is credit available, irrespective of even what the monetary policy rate is. However, looking at the monetary policy rate as it is right now, your reason for borrowing is for business expansion growth, provided you have the cash flow to repay that facility, and the returns are what you see that would help your business expansion target. Please, do not hesitate, do not shy away from having that conversation. It's when you start the conversation that you actually know what are those things that can help reduce the cost for you. What are those other funds you can tap into? There are even some risk guarantee funds, institutions that actually provide credit risk guarantee also, that you would not know unless that conversation starts. In terms of investing also, Bukola spoke to it. What the available options? Yes, when the economy is as tight as it is, that's when opportunities are bound. And it's only those who actually take advantage of these opportunities, who don't shy away, who don't hide back and just think and wish things to happen. So the fact that the theme of this year's International Women's Day, International Women's Month is Accelerate Action, it's not just for us to say it. You have to accelerate that action. We have to really be decisive and deliberate about how we want to grow ourselves as women. And when we say, demand a place at the table, you must have something to help demand and help make that your demand for a seat come to happen. But yeah, that's it for
That's
me.
super.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me just say
All right,
something
Onome.
to what she just said. In terms of investing, there are different things to invest in. And I think that as a woman, first of all, you need to understand what your objective is. What goal are you, chasing? For me, and I would like to assume it's the same for other women, is financial freedom. And I think everyone has a story. There has to be something that is pushing you. There are some women you see, they're so driven when it comes to financial stability. Most women aren't so driven because maybe they have some level of support somewhere. But I would use myself again as an example. I've always been very particular with how I wanted my life, how I want my life to be. I know the kind of future that I have. So obviously, I had to make choices and decisions that were in line or in alignment with that vision or that future that I see for myself. And I think also, I've also had experiences as a child growing up. It was extremely tough going to ask my father for money. Like you would have to muster courage. And it did give me a lot of anxiety because when you go to asking for, let's assume you're asking for 1,000, we do have an inside joke that he's going to give you an insult of 10,000 naira. So you need to weigh your options. Do you want to go and ask for money or you just want to just be by yourself? So that made me, swear to myself that I would never put myself in a position where any man would humiliate me or make me feel terrible or feel bad about myself because of my financial standing or lack of financial standing. So that obviously helped me. I remember when I started working, I got my first bonus. I immediately invested it in treasury bills. And at the time, treasury bills was doing effective yield was about 22% per annum. The year after, I got more than 700% increase in the bonus. I did also buy treasury bills. I liquidated after some time, sold it in the secondary market, and also got a real estate asset. So I think that once you have a goal and you have a vision, write it down, write the goals down, and then begin to highlight step by step how you're going to achieve that goal or that purpose, that vision. There are different investments women can invest in. I am very risk averse. I would only invest my money in assets that I know I can go and sleep peacefully, right? So treasury bills, bonds, Euro bonds, USTs. I may do some CPs, but they are regulated entities, and companies who obviously are properly rated. But as a woman, do not shy away from these things. Know these things. Know financial instruments. There are websites you can actually go on to read. Websites like FMDQ. You can also go on to see. I think there's also CNBC. There's Bloomberg. There's also Investopedia. Just go online, read on financial instruments. I would prefer to invest in assets that are backed up by the government. That's treasury bills and bonds. They are risk-free because one thing the government will not do is to default on their obligations to pay back a loan they have gotten from their citizens. They are risk-free. Instead of putting your money in the bank and you're earning zero interest, you can have a mutual funds investment. And for me, I see mutual funds as an investment, not necessarily to grow wealth, because savings and investment are different. Investment is what you need to actually grow your wealth. So your savings, you can have your savings for some sort of emergency in the future, and then have an investment plan, because you also need to increase your money. So you can put your money in a particular portfolio and invest in assets that will help you to grow your wealth. That's how women can actually break free from this financial instability and then have financial freedom. Nobody's going to do it for us. We have to be the ones to take the bull by the horn and say, I want to be financially free. I want to be financially stable. How do I do this? How do I achieve this? It is so important to have this. Please, ladies, thank you.
Thank you very much. And of course, we'll hear from Bukola. And after we've heard from Bukola, we'd love to get questions. Any questions we have, just a few, and then we'll wrap up.
All right, so you have Leadway Asset Management to help you do all the thinking and all the research that you need to do should you not want to do that. We have a stand out there. You can just stop by and ask some more information. And I also want to say this, that women have to learn to make sacrifices. Sacrifices in the sense that there are things that you have to give. You have to probably scale down on some of the things you really love to do so that you can invest for your future. So that you don't find yourself in a situation where you're humiliated just to get to, buy the things that you actually really need. So you may have to manage with not having all the hairs that you desire, not buying all the, there's this thing that kids take to school when they're having birthday parties, the souvenirs. People go above and beyond these days. They spend millions of naira on souvenirs that their kids share in school. I'm not saying this is bad. I'm not saying this is wrong if you can really afford it. But I'm saying that you will have to make sacrifices if you're investing. So you would have to be disciplined, take a certain percent of your earnings and tell yourself that, okay, I'm doing just 20% or 10%, I'll do this without, changing it. I also want to speak to credit. In my experience, I have a few friends who are entrepreneurs. They have schools, they have hospitals, and some other concerns. Women are very shy to take advantage of credit. They would rather go to their rich friend, their rich uncle, or their rich whoever to help them finance their business. What this does for you is, number one, you don't get the respect that you deserve. And if you don't get the respect that you deserve, you're somehow limiting yourself. Take advantage of proper credit. Have structures in your business. Let your business run outside your emotions. Put proper structure. Have a accounting system in place. Engage professionals. Don't start quoting the scriptures that says, I will not borrow to nations, I will borrow from nations. I will not do this, I will not do that. You need to understand that this is the principle of business and use these things to your advantage. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So we've been able to get parting shots from two of our... the last word to Stanbic, to Jumoke.
Yeah, thank you. I think for me, in closing, because Bukola did say it, we need to stop shying away. Women actually need to be very deliberate about their businesses and what they intend to do with it, where they want to take it to. So let's be decisive. Let's accelerate action. Let's act on everything that we've actually heard here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you to my panelists, Onome Odometa, Olajumoke Bello, and Bukola Osikomaiya. We really learned a lot, and we are all determined to accelerate action so that all women, all of us here, can get access to resources, to rewards, and returns in our businesses. So thank you once again for being here, and over the MC.
Thank you so much to Emezino Afiegbe. Thank you. Please rise for a group photograph. We'll welcome our festival creator and our chairman to come up, join. And of course, one of our Hebrew sisters to join in this photo session. Did you enjoy it? Decisions, decisions, decisions that lead to what? Action. Accelerate action. Today is the day, if you haven't before, today is that day you would go to the booths of Leadway Asset Management and pick up a form, pick up something to start some journey that you haven't done before. The point has been made so clearly. We're not waiting to become. We will do what we need to do and then become. Please appreciate this panel for speaking to the business of financing and investment. Thank you so much. And then another round of applause to Guardian Woman Festival for putting this together. Your hands cannot pain you. Please put them together for Stanbic IBTC and Leadway Asset Management. Please clap very resoundingly.